All right, welcome to the Philly Fox and Danny D Eagles podcast, Phillies edition. That's the star of the show, Philly Fox, and I'm your host, Danny D, and we're coming to you from our Eagles perch in the Ed Bobko Memorial Studios in beautiful Morristown, PA. All right, so let's start with game one of the Giants series, Philly. What do we got?
We have Taijuan Walker versus Root.
Okay, and we got Stott leading off.
Which is a trend that Rob set, and it'll be prevalent throughout the rest of the games in these series.
Okay, and so what do we got as far as offense in this game? What do we got?
Well, but first we got to talk about the first inning before we get to the offense.
Oh, okay.
Taijuan Walker got a pickoff, his 28th of his career.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the guy is good, really good at that. And what did you say that was? What?
His 28th career pickoff.
Wow. Yeah, that is quite a bit. All right. And that was one of the things that never really got talked about. Okay, what do you got next?
Yes, in the bottom of the first, Trey doubles home a run, gives us a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, there you go. You love it. 1-0 lead. Trey gets a double. I like it. What do you got next?
And Castellanos singles home another, so 2-0.
Yeah, attaboy Nick. Love Castellanos. Love his offense. And I love that he's producing.
And then Max Kepler grounded out, but it brought home Kyle Schwarber, so it's 3-0.
Okay, yeah, hey, it all adds up, right? Small ball.
But our joy was short-lived as Taijuan had his worst inning of the season, giving up 6 runs.
Yeah, hey,
four earned,
4 earned runs, yeah. Hey, look, it was gonna happen. The good thing is, I don't feel like anybody's really turned on him. They kind of accepted the fact that, hey, you're not going to have a great outing every time out, right?
Well, yes.
Okay. And so what do we got?
It's a Bohm starts a hit streak in the next inning.
Okay.
The first of a 7-game hit streak, may I add?
Right. Okay. Because the and then we got then later on, and Nick also had a home run. Okay.
Well, makes it 6-4. So you're feeling like, they're gonna come back, maybe. Hey?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it didn't happen, and the Giants win 10-4. Okay, and then we got game 2. And go ahead.
Which is Jesus Luzardo versus Justin Verlander.
Okay, yeah, good matchup there. He's a good pitcher, but I like ours better. And we got Stott leading off again. Still not hasn't quite set with Stott yet in the leadoff spot. That's why we're gonna just keep telling you until it ends up being an everyday thing. And what do you have as far?
With JT Realmuto hit a solo home run to give the Phillies a 1-0 lead.
Yeah, I love it when JT hits a home run. He's a big part of this team, and I love it when he's a part of the offense.
And then Marsh gets a sac fly, makes it 2-0.
Okay.
Because if you're gonna get out, make it a productive out. Don't strike out.
Yeah, and he really hasn't been too productive this year. Unfortunately, he's been part of that whole problem with center field really not getting a lot of offensive production out of it. Okay, what else you got?
Well, JT again.
Okay.
An RBI single. It's 3-3. The Giants do get 3 runs, but
yeah,
the Phillies keep striking back. Put that way.
And again, it's good to see JT hot. When JT gets going, that's definitely a good thing.
And then Bohm continues that streak I talked about. It's 4-3 Phillies.
Yeah.
Because he gets an RBI single.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, everybody's kind of joking around saying they don't want him to be an all-star again because it seemed like it kind of fell off after the all-star game. But to be honest with you, if he keeps this up, we'll be talking about it. I don't know that he'll be an all-star or make the team or whatever, but I think he can play at that all-star level.
Well, I agree. Then Romano does a scoreless inning. We're glad to see it out of him finally. We don't say it enough, because Romano, he gives us nerves, and we'll talk about later what happens. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, actually a lot of the bullpen gives me agita, but that's besides the point. Okay, what do you got next?
And Harper hits a home run, he's getting going.
Yeah, absolutely. You get Harper going, and that's a good thing. And I think that's part of this whole thing with Stott leading off and
Schwarber batting cleanup.
Schwarber batting cleanup, absolutely. Okay. You got anything else for this game?
Well, just Strom closes it out. It's a 6-4 Phillies win.
Yeah. Strom's one of the guys that we can
trust. You know.
Yeah, one of the few guys that we can trust right now. All right, so I like it. Phillies win, and we even the series. Okay, so
and now it's game 3.
Game 3. Okay, so what do we have here? So who's pitching?
Aaron Nola versus Robbie Ray.
Robbie Ray. Okay, and now this game, we got Trey's leading off. And we got Schwarber in left. I don't understand that. But hey, that's where he is. He's out there playing. I like Kyle as a DH. I don't nothing against the guy, you know, and he'd probably tell you too that he shouldn't be playing out in the field unless they absolutely need him, you know. But anyway, so go ahead.
Well, Aaron Nola has a terrible first inning, unfortunately.
Yeah, it was bad. He got 4 runs
against him. Yep.
Yeah, okay. But to his credit, he did kind of settle down after that. It really wasn't as bad. But you know, of course, you thought he should have got pulled, right?
Well, yes, because he was losing his command. I felt, and it was time to pull him. But he lowered the bases up when Rob finally pulled him. Like if he would have pulled him like 2 batters earlier, there'd only be one guy on, and you just don't know how the inning would go then.
Yeah, and that's always a tough call. And but you know, Rob does the best he can, and sometimes it's a confidence thing. Sometimes it's the pitchers that you have available. It's a complicated call. It's a tough decision to make, and you're not always going to make the right one. What else you got?
Well, it's a JT walks in a run, and then Sosa walks in a run, so it's 4-2 eventually.
Okay.
Back-to-back walk-in runs.
Yeah, not exactly the kind of offense that you want or the way you want to get your runs.
Well, take them any way you could get them, like a pass ball, wild pitch, anyway.
Yeah, well, when the game starts out and you're losing 4-0, yeah, absolutely. So they end up, and then what do we got after that?
Well, Harper home run to tie it at 4, a 2-run homer.
Yeah, this guy's catching fire, that's for sure.
Yeah. And once again, like you think the Phillies have a comeback in them, but unfortunately it's where they didn't pull Nola, like in my opinion. Like that might have been a momentum shifter.
Yeah.
Keeping Nola in too long.
Keeping him in too long. But you know, and that being said, I mean there was some offense, right? But they just kept stranding runners.
Oh yes. I mean Nola didn't pitch well enough like in other games, but offense, surrounding runners in scoring position was still a problem. You know?
Yeah, and that's and we're not blaming the loss on them. We're just saying, hey, that you know, they could have made it closer. We don't know if they could have won the game, but you know, it was just you don't like to see runners in scoring position being stranded ever. Okay, so they end up losing 11-4. Giants are up in the series 2-1. All right, so we go to Game 4. And
Christopher Sanchez versus Koss for the
right. Okay, and we got Stott back to leading off, which I think pretty much stayed that way then the rest of the week. Okay, and we got Sanchez on the mound. You got to be feeling pretty good about that. Okay?
Yes, I do.
Yeah,
because he had 28 swings and misses on his changeup. That was a stat.
Yeah, that's the most in Major League Baseball since
2008. And 12 Ks, which put that way, 12 strikeouts.
Yeah, absolutely. Great game from him. Solid performance. Okay, and as far as the offense, how did we score?
Well, Kyle Schwarber gets a 2-run single, gives the Phillies a 2-1 lead.
Yeah. Kyle's been on a mission this year. He's definitely leading by example out there. What else you got?
And then Nick brought more in. It's 3-1 on an RBI single.
Okay, and but unfortunately he had to leave the game a little early, didn't he?
Well, because of injury, like.
Okay, well yeah, he had that hip flexor tightness, but ended up.
But Rob said he was good to go for the following game and stuff. And
right.
So for that way.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bryce Harper hits another homer in that game, I believe.
Okay. Yes. Did he?
Well, yes, because I think they made it 5-3. You know, then 6-3 on the Sosa sac fly.
Okay.
But that because he had Bryce Harper home run, right? You know.
Okay.
because then, like I said, Sosa then, because Sosa's another person we're talking about, like, for being a role player, he's sure stepped up in whatever role Rob wants him to, so.
Right.
Put it that way.
Yeah, Sosa's been doing well, and everybody's been saying, come on, this guy's got to play more. He needs a position. He needs to play every day. I don't agree. I think good teams have a utility player, and that's how you get the term. The guy can play different positions. He can comes in off the bench. He plays left field one day. He plays second base. He plays shortstop. He plays third base. He plays wherever you need him. He didn't even play a game in center field. I think he played 2 different outfield positions, but it doesn't matter. That's more important because you take him away and you put him at a position. Then who's your utility guy? Cody Clemens is good and he can play different positions, but right now nobody is playing at the level that he is. And he's fast. He's a good fielder. He's a good hitter. Heads up, legs out the infield hits, right? So anyway, good for him. And what do you have there then?
Well, a series split because there's no more scoring. Like the Giants get like 1 run in the bottom or top of the ninth, I should say. Then.
Okay, so
but the Phillies still hold on. So.
Okay, so the Phillies win 6-4.
And they split with a top 3 team record-wise right now, so
yeah.
I'm not feeling too bad,
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of highs, a lot of lows, but yeah, absolutely. Considering how last week went, the fact that we start out this week with a split, I'll take it.
Yes, and then we're moving on to Game 1 of the Marlins series.
Right, we're going to play the Fish. Stott leading off again. And on the mound, we got
Wheeler versus Alcantara, which seems like a pitcher's duel, but it wasn't,
Yeah, it didn't end up being that way. So what?
Well, Harper continues his home run streak because he got a 2-run bomb to put the Phillies on the board first.
Yeah, I mean, the guy's on fire. The guy's hot. And again, I think this has to do with Schwarber batting behind him. He's seeing better pitches. And he's taking advantage of it, and he's fairly healthy right now. Doesn't seem to. He had that little bit of a back thing a couple weeks ago, but he seems to be fine.
And then Alec Boehm RBI single gives the Phillies a 3-0 lead. Boehm continuing his hit streak. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's up to 5, huh? 5 games straight. Yes. Yeah.
And then Rojas brought another one. Like Rojas hasn't actually been bad at the plate lately. Like he's been driving in runs. Like today he also did. So I'll say.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just he gets crucified for that outfield mistake. That's what people crucify him for.
Sure, and then at the time he really wasn't producing offensively either. So I mean,
credit to him, he picked it up this past.
Yeah, and you can't blame people at the time for picking on him because or saying, hey, look, we basically have you on the team because of your defense, and we're supposed to kind of like accept the fact that your offense just when we get it, we get it. When we don't, we don't. Well. If we don't, and then you're not
doing what you're supposed to do
at center field, right? You're not being that Golden Glove type center fielder, of course. But he's been picking it up offensively, and he's been solid out in the field. So yeah, good for him.
Well, yes, and then Stott on a sac fly makes it 5-0.
Okay.
And then there was even more scoring on a wild pitch. Rojas comes home, makes it 6-0.
Yeah, that's his other thing. He's fast, his speed, and he's good. He's good on the bases.
And then a Schwarber bomb adds the extra point, as I joked on Twitter, makes it 7-0.
Yeah, and that was his. And that's kind of like 3 sevens there, right? Because it was his 7th of the season. He made it 7-0. And it was 7 points for like a touchdown,
Well, yeah, Wawa Schwarber is back, like my graphic says,
Yeah. Yeah. The guy's on a mission, and like I like to say, he's on a bombing mission, right? Schwarber bombs, right? So okay, so we'll take that. Yeah, we like that. We like the wins. Okay, so now we got Game 2, right?
Oh yes, Game 2.
Okay, and
which is Taijuan Walker again versus Quantrill for the Marlins.
Okay, and decent outing out of Walker. We 4 innings, 56 pitches. Came out a little early, had a little tightness in his right shoulder, but they said it was he was fine after that. But they just didn't want to push it.
Yes. We get the offense going early again, which I like to see 2 games in a row.
Okay.
With a Turner RBI single, makes it 1-0.
Yeah, I mean he's been a little quiet, but he's been there. He's been there. Good for Trey.
And then a Nick Castellanos sac fly makes it 2-0.
Yeah, Nick's been really good. Absolutely, he's been steady and consistent. I think he's been maybe the most consistent hitter through the whole season.
Well, yes, and then Max Kepler gets a 2-run double.
There you go, Max the Axe coming through.
Yep, and then Trey again.
Right.
He's at 7-1 on a double. So.
Okay, yeah, single, double, more RBIs. I like it. We need Trey Turner to be part of this offense. But that's what's so good about this offense. 2-3 of these guys can carry the team at any time. So because everybody's going to have their down moments in the season and whatever. Not everybody can be hot every night.
Yes, and then Johan Rojas again gets an RBI single.
Absolutely good to see that. Absolutely good to see that. I know Reading Phillies have been tweeting about that. They're proud that one of their own is doing well in the bigs.
And then Bryson Stott drove in another run on an RBI.
Mm-hmm. And so him at leadoff, it's working out. It's producing runs below, and then he's also producing. Good for him.
Well, so you think it's an easy win, like stress-free, right? but
yeah, it didn't work out that way now, did it?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, and who was the bad guy?
Well, Romano, he gave up 6 of the runs.
Romano. No, I know. Yeah.
Like however you say his name, like we'll pronounce it right when he pitches better, as we always say.
Yeah. When he gets it right, we'll get it right. Yeah. I don't know. I always pronounced it Romano, but they keep saying Romano, and okay, whatever.
Well,
yeah. All right, so we had a total bullpen collapse.
Well, mainly on him, but like that Hernandez, his name is, like, gave up 3 runs. Like Carlos Hernandez, like. I mean, he gave up 3 runs, but he's one of the guys they only bringing in mop-up duty. He's not like a regular bullpen guy,
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to pick on the whole bullpen there, but yeah. Well, when 2 of them,
even granted, they were usually just the mop-up duty guys, but except Romano,
Right, but we ended up pulling out a win.
Oh yes,
squeak by 11-10, 1 run, but hey, a win is a win, and it goes in the win column, and there's no asterisks next to it. Okay.
But the third game, this one's a little bit more painful, I can like.
Well, yeah. Okay. Yeah, today's game, unfortunately, and
because it's Jesus Luzardo versus Gillespie for the Marlins.
Sure. Yeah. And okay. And Luzardo didn't really
pitch bad.
No. He actually, he pitched a good game. He kept him in it.
I believe he only allowed 2 earned runs, so
okay,
which is good for a quality start.
Sure. So.
I think because Harper started off with a double to make it 2-0.
Okay, and
then Nick RBI single makes it 3-0.
Okay, yeah, it's a common theme here. We've been saying a lot. We've been hearing Harper's name a lot. Been hearing Nick's name a lot, and they're both hot right now. And
then Marchand, shout out to him with a throw out at second base. You would have thought JT was out there with that throw.
Yep, that's his second one. I think that was his second of the week. I thought the tweet said, but either way, it's good play by him.
And then Bohm extends his hitting streak, I'll say.
Yeah,
to 7 games.
7 games.
And Marchand, not only is he doing it behind the dish, but he's doing it at the plate.
Yeah.
RBI single makes it 4-1 Philly.
Okay. Yeah, that's good to see. Hey, I mean, he's young, and that's the reason they kept him was because he was younger. And he has an upside.
Yes, but unfortunately, this is where the wheels come off, as they say.
Yeah.
Because Kerkering, normally he's reliable, but I don't know what's been wrong with him the past couple of games,
Yeah.
Because he allowed a 3-run bomb to make it 4-4.
Yeah, I hope he gets it figured out, because right now the bullpen is what's I think is the
biggest culprit.
Yeah, I mean, the bats go cold every now and then, but you got to have that bullpen that's going to come in and limit the damage. And so we ended up losing that one in extra innings.
7-5.
7-5. Okay, but hey, long and short of it is they won the series, and so they won 2 out of 3. That's not bad. So they ended up 5-3 on the week. The Mets are right now sitting at 15-7. The Phils are at 13-9. So I mean they're only a couple of games behind, and then we got the Mets coming in town, right? So
we're playing them up there, but still.
Oh, okay, we're going up there, but we're playing the Mets, so that's our next series, right?
Oh,
so we can make up some of this distance. At least we come out of there winning 2 out of 3. That would be nice.
One game back,
Yeah.
in the win column then.
Okay. And all right, so some topics from the week. So, all right, well, we noticed. I noticed today that Stubbs got pulled from the Pigs lineup before the game, and if you notice, well, JT didn't play. Does one have anything to do with the other? I don't know. There's obviously, you can speculate over that. Maybe by the time you watch this, maybe something will already happen. But at the time, I don't know. What's your initial thought when you see that?
Well, that they might have him ready if he needs to be called up or something. I don't know. Like maybe some JT's dealing with something like you said, and if JT's out, you're gonna need Stubbs because you can't just have Marshawn play every day.
Yeah, right. Well, you gotta have 2 catchers. I mean, one gets hurt, who's gonna go in there? Not just to play, every so many days or whatever. Of course, other people right away are going to say that maybe he's traded or whatever. I don't know. Anyhow, we just thought we'd bring that up, and by next week, I'm sure we'll know what happened. All right. And how about Stott? So Stott's been leading off. How do you feel about that?
Well, he's been playing a lot better. He's been hitting because in his old spot he had struggled hitting because after him you had like the Rojas's and the Marsh. I'm not saying they're bad players, but they're not the heart of your order, is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and where he's batting might be making a difference in his batting. But I think what it's the best thing that it's doing is that it's creating better at bats for Harper with Schwarber at fourth and Trey at second. He has to see pitches because you know what I mean. And that's much better for him, and it's been paying dividends because look at how hot Harper is, right? Home runs, RBIs. The guy's been swinging the bat really well, and it's because he has pitches to see to hit. So I think, and credit
to Rob for figuring that out.
Yeah, absolutely. We were going to talk about Topper later, but let's go ahead and give him credit now for that. Let's talk about it now. He juggled around the lineup. He was getting criticized. Come on, make up your mind. Who you going to put there? It's got to be Trey. If it's not Trey, maybe Trey needs to go to the outfield. All this, that, and the other thing. Hey, he experimented. He found something that worked, and now he's sticking with it. And I feel it's paying dividends. The offense, other than struggling later on, sometimes stranding.
Runners in scoring position.
In scoring position, it's actually been pretty good this week, don't you think?
Oh, yes, for the most part.
Yeah. And, okay, so then we got, and then Bohm's on a 7-game hitting streak.
Well, yes, because everybody, of course, wanted him out of town when he was struggling. That's just the narrative. When someone struggles, get him out of town,
Yeah, and then picking on him because of his emotions and this and that. And, look, we've seen it before. I've said it before. That he has his issues, he has his problems, but he always owns up to it, and he's more of a man than people want to give him credit for. And I don't have a problem with a player that shows emotion. I'd rather have a player that shows emotion. Hell, we were beating up everybody else on the team for their attitude of when they were struggling at the plate, their chase rate, and are they looking at videos and doing this? So you picked on guys when they didn't have a sense of urgency, and then this guy obviously cares so much, and he's showing his emotions, and then we get all over his case. I like Bohm.
Same, because you're not going to find a better third baseman out there. Because people said, trade him for an all-star. That he is an all-star himself,
Yeah. I mean, you might find a better fielder or whatever. I mean, everybody has their different strengths or whatever. He's not Mike Schmidt, but he's definitely a better than average fielder, and he's a way better than average hitter, right?
Yes.
Okay, and Harper, right? Harper's been on fire. I mean, it's just working this whole thing with Stott at leadoff. He's seeing those pitches. I know I'm kind of repeating this, but it's exciting. It's exciting to see.
Well, yes, the offense hasn't been leaving runners on like they did previously as much because the lineup changed, I feel, right?
Yeah, and with him hitting the way he is, and Schwarber hitting the way he is, actually all of them. I mean, they're getting early leads. Unfortunately, sometimes they lose it later on, but for the most part, they're scoring runs early, and which is something you want because then that gives your pitcher more confidence, and they're also right. They're getting into the pitch counts are getting higher on the opposing pitchers, right?
Oh yes.
Yeah, and then they're getting into their bullpens, and of course that's usually an advantage for you because now you're getting deeper into their bullpen, and hopefully you're going to see even more pitches to hit. All right, Schwarber.
Well, same thing. Schwarber, like he's adjusted into the cleanup spot. He's still hitting home runs, getting the singles, doubles, whatever,
Yeah.
Because the knock on Schwarber is like, all he can do is hit home runs. He can't hit singles or doubles or anything like that,
Yeah.
But he's doing all that as well,
Yeah. Complete all-around game. I don't like seeing him out in the field. I'd rather him be DH, but, but the guy goes and does whatever he needs to do. Christopher Sanchez.
Same thing. He's been probably the best pitcher so far, if I had to ask me.
Yeah, he's been solid, and that last outing was one of the. I wish I could have seen it, but it was one of the best outings I heard on the radio in a long time.
Because there hasn't been enough games on TV. Comcast, what's wrong? With you? Like, why aren't you televising all the games?
Yeah, that's.
Just put it that way. I had to do with the Comcast because.
Yeah, well, he likes to watch them. I'm a radio guy. I've been listening to games for years. I like it. I like the description that you get on the radio, and I like being able to do other things at the same time and kind of take my game on the go if I have to. But anyway, so we got Nola. Let's talk a little bit about Nola.
I feel that last start was like his first real bad one, I should say.
Yeah. His record, he wasn't as bad as his record had shown, or maybe the statistics had shown. But this one definitely was a bad outing. Give him credit. He did settle down afterwards. And I don't know, we talked about this a little bit, and this is not an excuse on guys, but, he's a hot weather guy. He's one of those guys that if it's 100 degrees and it's high humidity and nobody else wants to play or would rather play, he's ready to go out there. He takes he goes out to the mound, takes the ball, and he's ready to go. He's not a cold weather guy. And some of these others aren't really cold weather guys. And that was some really cold games this past week. Not an excuse, just an observation. But I think we both feel that Knowles will turn it around and he'll end up, it'll be a solid year from him. You're just going to have your ups and downs.
Well, same because he hasn't been the greatest regular season, but he steps up in the playoffs. Like his playoff statistics are way better and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean he's a workhorse. He's definitely a big part of this staff. Real quick, Taijuan Walker.
Same thing. He had that one bad inning, really, but it kind of like inflamed his whole start, unfortunately. Like, as that inning counts, we can't just erase it, unfortunately.
Yeah, but isn't it great that we're actually having a conversation like, oh well, he just had that one bad outing, or he just had that one bad inning, when last year we wanted this guy out of town, and everybody was saying, why is he still on the pitching staff? And then Ranger goes down, and he has to fill in, and he's been pretty damn good since then, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So, so happy that he's still on the team. And then Orion Kirkering. Yeah.
Because I've never seen him this bad, because he's normally been a reliable pitcher for us, but this year, for some reason, it's not,
Yeah. I don't know. The only thing that I'm going to say about that is so many times I heard when somebody else went in, when Romano went in or somebody else went in and they didn't do well, it's like, oh, why didn't they put Kirkering in? Why didn't they put Orion in? And I'm like, okay. But look, that wasn't a done deal putting him in, because obviously the guy's not he's not lights out. He's not locked in right now. So hopefully he gets it turned around. I think the bullpen right now is the weak part of this Phillies team. I still think their pitching staff and their offense and the ability to put runs on the board are their strength. So, all right. Well, I think that just pretty much about wraps it up. I don't know. You got anything else, Philly, that you want to throw in there?
We'll just bring on the Mets,
Yeah,
Definitely.
right? Bring on the Mets. Absolutely. Yeah, I can't wait. I'd rather it be at home. I'd rather it be at
CBP, but
yeah, but unfortunately, hey, you got to win. You got to win on the road. So, like we said, if we can win 2 out of 3 up there, I'll be real happy. Who else do we play after that? Do you know?
I think the Cubs, from what I read, so
Okay.
It might be in Chicago though. But
Okay. Well, either
regardless.
way. Yeah.
I mean, because the Mets are going to have to come to Philly eventually too. So
yeah.
we're playing them up there now, but they'll have to play us in Philly later in the year. Like, put it that way.
Okay. Well, either way, whoever they play, we'll go over everything next week. So, all right. Well, thanks again for watching. So, we're going to wrap it up. And remember, if you don't hate us,
Like us.
yeah, and then subscribe.
You don't miss an episode.
Yeah, on YouTube, and then you can follow us on Twitter.
Yep.
Okay, and look for our posts during the week. We post on every game, and through the game, and updates and stuff, and on what everything's going on. And all right, well, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's go, Phillies!